Hello, everyone. How are you? It is good to be with you on this Saturday, December 3rd. And I know I was telling you, how do I get everything done? And how crazy is life going to be the next few weeks? But I thought about it. I talked to Mark, and we talked about we don't want stress to ruin the holiday. And just in being able to talk out loud, I kind of worked out solutions. So, my biggest solution is for the next week, I'm taking one room a day and I'm cleaning it top to bottom. And that breaks down what is an overwhelming job into bite sized pieces. So, let me see, was it Friday? Yes, Friday, I tackled the guest room. Now, I haven't done the cleaning, but I did all the straightening and organizing of the room, cleaned out drawers, made sure I had all the things I needed to set up the guest room. But the guest room's not going to be used until right after Christmas. So I think I'm pretty good on that. And then yesterday, I spent all day cleaning out my frame room. You will not believe the things that I sat down or had in bags, totally forgot that I even had. So I cleaned out um I cleaned out my frame room. All I've got left is the top of this dresser in there. So it's very doable. And then I still need to vacuum and dust it. But nobody's staying in that room. So it just has to be, good enough for somebody to walk in and go, oh, okay. But I was so tickled. So far, when I get in this mood, it's wonderful because I start organizing and tossing things, cleaning out drawers, cleaning off all surfaces. I got rid of 2 garbage bags of junk, things that I think I'm going to save or need, and I don't. Do you know how good that feels? Because in the guest room, one of the dressers, I had junk in there that's been in there since we moved into the house 14 years ago. So I'm kind of thinking, oh, no white glove test. I'm kind of thinking that this is a good, when Mark retires, we're planning on seeing what, do we want to move closer to the coast or what? So this is kind of a good way to just start emptying things out. Like I told you when we put the new carpet in the sunroom, I went through every shelf, every drawer, and cleaned out junk. And it's good. I mean, newspapers that I've had in there for 10 years. I was going to use them for birdcage clean out, but now I switched to those little potty pad, the dog puppy pads. They're great and easy. But anyway, um, and I know I keep talking to you about bringing Kiwi down, and I promise I will. It's just been a little overwhelming. So she's not happy that she hasn't been able to see you either. So I will be bringing her down. But anyway, so by taking a bite a day, tomorrow's bite is going to be scrubbing the kitchen from the ceiling to the floor. And I have 2 nice area rugs in the kitchen, even though the kitchen's small, but it's just nice on your feet. I'm going to steam clean those. I'm going to scrub the floor. I'm going to be on the floor washing the baseboards and the shoe molding and then scrubbing down the whole cabinets, the backsplash. I mean, I'm just if you it's so funny in weekly cleaning you don't tend to look too closely, but when I look at some of the cabinets, it's like, oh, what got flicked or spilled on that and what got spilled on that. So everything's going to come away from the wall and the countertops are going to be scoured. And I was telling Mark, it's not that we have to do this for Christmas. This is stuff I used to do. You know, our grandmothers called it spring and fall cleaning. And now I'll settle for once a year, but it's got to be done. So Mark will be helping me when he can, but by taking it one task a day, I am feeling less overwhelmed. So you took a razor blade and dug out yucky stuff between your stove and countertop. I love it. And don't you feel better once you do that stuff? Because, you know, in your daily life, you get busy and you're doing a certain thing and you don't see. So we're definitely going to get some things cleaned up. And then what I do is I tell myself, if I clean this one room, the sooner I get it done, the sooner I can go back to crafting. So crafting is my incentive. But that is my reward for doing the cleaning. And it does feel good. It's people say cleaning out, like throwing those two garbage bags full of stuff, it is a weight off your shoulder. And so I'm enjoying it. I really am. In fact, Mark kept saying, "Are you done cleaning yet?" Because once I get going, it's like, amazing. So this room is also on the list. I will get it done. But anyway, I feel much better with the one room a day and starting nice and early. In the past, I would have said, well, if I clean now, it'll be dirty again by Christmas. Well, yeah. And you know what you do? You do your normal cleaning. You run around the vacuum and you dust. Boom. But the core cleaning is done. And that I'm going to be very happy with. I used to always scrub my kitchen completely, top to bottom, at least once a year. I used to mop the ceiling because I didn't want any cooking smells hanging around. And so, I just can't clean in 2 days anymore. It takes a little longer, but I'm feeling much better about it. This past Thursday, we did an art quilt Thursday, our new project, which is the house project, how to turn your home into an art quilt. And doesn't have to be your home. It could be your dream home. It could be the psycho house. It could be anything. And so I started telling you, this is a picture of my house. I turned it black and white. Then I enlarged it so that I can see it good enough to copy it. So we have started that. But I was telling Mark, I've got the car to take to the shop to get the oil changed and get it inspected and get a recall repair done. I've got dogs that have to go to the groomer. I have my cancer check that I have to do. And I think there's another thing, but it's like one thing a week, which takes away from the time and mainly energy that I have to keep up with everything. And I was hoping to get all my Christmas crafts done by December 1st. I didn't. I've gotten a lot done, but not enough. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the cleaning, then decorate, and in the evenings, keep working on crafts and just hope I get done. And I am the one that sets these pressures on me. So I get to decide if, you know what, I'm not going to get such and such done. It's okay. But I sat down, we had a meeting and I wrote on the calendar and I looked at the time I had and I've got a plan. And if I don't get some things done, it's okay too. The main thing is to pause and enjoy the time with my daughters and my son and his wife and kids and just enjoy it because that's what's precious. So cross your fingers. All right, let's see who's here. And I've talked about so I'm sorry. And saying all of that, the reason I'm saying all that is I don't have time before Christmas to do 2 shows a week. It's making sure I've just washed my hair and I've got a pretty outfit to wear and I've got time to work on the project and do the actual show. And right now, I'm not going to overwhelm myself. So, what I've decided to do starting next Sunday is I'm going to take a half an hour block of our Sunday show and do our art quilt show. And that way, we're not losing time. We're still working on this. I hope Rebecca's out there who wanted me to do this show. Hey, Vicky, a new member. And so, that way I can still keep that show going, but do a once a week show, which should save me, a good number of hours. All right. So now, normally on my shows, all day Sunday is preparing for Sunday show. Thursday, all day Thursday is pretty much carved out for the Thursday show. So I just right now have to cut it down to one day. All right, but we'll start back up sometime after the first of the year. But you still will get Art Quilt Thursday. It'll just be on Sunday. All righty. So I've been busy working on lots of things, but now that you know, don't look for the Thursday show. It'll start back up later when things aren't quite as busy. And I want to see who is here. So I'm so excited. And Marcia, hi, sweetheart. Marcia is our intrepid, um, what should we call her? The hostess with the mostest. And she is here to welcome you. And it's just nice. She offers the soft, warm part of the show. Then Lisa's here. Hi, Miss Lisa. And then, oh, Lisa's in Georgia. It's 70 degrees. Yeah, it's warmer. I left the back door open, and then my dog Denise was so cute. I had to go back and look. She left me a message and said your dog was cracking me up trying to wrap up in the blankets. And when I came down here Thursday night, it was pretty chilly in the room because this is in the walkout basement, so it gets cold. And so I had to go back and look at the show and see what she was talking about. Oh, Blossom is a nut. And she was trying to curl into the blanket. That's her favorite thing. In fact, if she wants to get affection, like she'll jump on our bed and go under the sheets. And we always, oh, get so silly, girl, and she thinks that's just wonderful. But that's our Blossom. So thank you, Denise, for pointing that out because it was cute. Okay, then we have so Lisa, did you actually move to Georgia or were you when I thought you were in North Carolina when we took the last class, so I might have missed that. But just don't go too far away. So um yeah, you know what? Omaha, Nebraska, Marsha's right. They get snow. Oh my goodness. In fact, one of the pictures, I've got a new picture from Melanie, who's probably not going to be here today. She's got a lot going on, but her dog is already having a wonderful time with snow. So I've got a picture of it to share with you. I can't handle the cold, that's for sure. But I don't like the heat either. So it's a problem. I thought, well, there's one little block of Colorado that looks like it has perfect weather, but who knows? Anyway. Arkansas is warm today. So hi, Miss Mary. Betty Meisner. Hello, sweetheart. Oh gosh, this is great. Let me see who else. I love seeing your chat. I love when I scroll down and see your chatting. That's wonderful because I do think of this as a virtual quilting bee. So that's nice. So Joni is here. Hi, Joni. I am going to talk about your idea for UFOs. I have it on my agenda. And it's so nice to have Vicky. And is it Sabo? Um, oh, she's from Nebraska too. That's wonderful. She sent pictures, and I've got her pictures for show and tell today. And Pat is here. Hi, Pat. Oh, it is. You've been in Georgia since 2005. How come I thought you were from North Carolina? I guess because you were at the thing. Oh, well, darn it. How are we going to go camping together and sew? Oh, well, we'll figure out something. Okay. So, Pat, it's so good to see you. Oh, Pat had a good birthday. Happy birthday. Oh, there's a good amount of talent here. That is for sure, Vicky. Oh, this is, oh, that's cute, Marcia. Oh, well, it is so good to see all of you here. And we're going to have some more fun today. So let's see. I told you about the house design, and that will be next Sunday. We'll lead off with it for our first half an hour, and then we'll go into our other excitements. And okay, let's see. I'll never forget. I went to Omaha, Nebraska. Oh my gosh, 42 years, 43 years ago. And the plane comes in for landing right over the cow field. I was like, oh my goodness. So, oh my gosh, look at y'all. Y'all are right there close together. All right, so I wanted to show you the first thing I'm so excited about. And I showed this to people on Thursday, but it's worth another showing. Yay! I got my fabrics in for the Alaska class that I'm going to be taking with Miss Lisa at the Myrtle Beach Quilt Party. So I'm very excited about that. And here is the fabric, and I got it from Hancock's, and they were wonderful to deal with. And I'm just really pleased. I love the colors. It is traditional. I started looking and looking, figuring out what do I get? What do I get? And the more I tried thinking of something unique and whatever, it just spooled me all up. So I said, go and look online. And when you find a fat quarter collection that you like, grab it. So I'm right back to the traditional Edita Sitar choice for Alaska, but I'm thrilled. I love the fabric. It's Genevieve by Carrie Quinn, made by Marcus Fabric. So here is the label. And I'll give that shout out to Hancock Fabric because I saved almost $20 on this fat quarter pack itself. So thank you very, very much. And that's good. So now we talked about that. All right, Miss Joni came up with a great idea. And Joni joined us for the Bargello class in July, and she's delightful. I have been very concerned at the number of UFOs that are piling up. And so I keep trying to pull something and get it finished. It's harder to do than you think. And especially when you're like me and you have short attention span and a new shiny object is always waiting right there to distract you. But I want to get things done because what I realize is one day when I'm no longer around, all my UFOs are really not valuable at all. They're just, dare I say, trash because, not many people want to pick up your UFOs. And I can imagine Mark's going to just get a dumpster. So, but I'm working. I want to work on them. I want to have finished quilts that people might want, give them away, give them to Goodwill, give them to a charity, find something if whatever my kids don't want. So that's my goal. She had a great idea because when you turn something into a game, when you turn something into something fun, it's much more fun to stay organized. So what we're going to do, and you don't even have to check in. If you're the type that goes, oh, I don't want to put my name down for something because if I don't do it, I'll be embarrassed or it's going to feel like too much pressure. Yes, Alberta Powell, hello, darling. Yes, make sure your loved ones know. Call up a local guild and say, I've got this stuff. Anybody want it? So good advice, Alberta. Very good advice. Because if they don't want it, they know who could use it. So anyway, what we're going to do is anyone who wants to participate, I want you to find 12 UFOs. And if any of you say, well, I don't have 12 UFOs, under the table, I'm virtually kicking you because I have well over 100. But anyway, let's get back to stay focused step. So I want you to gather up 12 UFOs. Put them in a box, put them in a bag, whatever, just number them. Okay? And what we're going to do is I'm going to put numbers 1 through 12 in a little basket. Each month, I will randomly draw out a number. Then I'll announce that number on the first day of the month. And how should I do it? Or I'll do it before the first day of the month. I'll announce the next month's number. Then you're going to have that month to see if you can finish that particular project. And then if you do, or however far you get, post a picture. Send it to me or put it on our group's IO site. A UFO. Oh, that's right. Vicky is newer to the game. A UFO is an unfinished object. Okay, UFO. So I'm going to sit here, put my email, OurTimeToQuilt at twc.com. There we go. That is my email. If you want to join our group's IO, it's a free, it's a kind of Yahoo chat group. We love it. You can join that group, or if you just want to send me pictures of your work so I can put it up for show and tell, or if you want to join in the 12 UFO projects. Yep, she's too new. You know what? I might just send Vicky. Well, I'll send Vicky one of ours. And Vicky, you can finish this for us. Hello, bright and shiny rays. Because sharing is caring. That's true. So, really, oh, I like it. I like it, Ray. Ray said for anyone who has fewer than 12 UFOs, maybe I could send 1 or 10. Yeah, I'll do that. So that's what we're gonna do. And we'll have to have some kind of prize for whoever gets the most of the 12 done. We'll do some kind of prize. Joni says, if you have fewer than 12, maybe you might have materials for a new project you want to work on that month. Now, that's a great idea, Joni. That's a great idea. Oh, hi, So Fun. I remember you. That is great. And, we don't mind lurkers, too, because not everybody is in the mood to chat. But we love it. Whoever wants to come and watch the fun, and that is wonderful too. So now we've talked about the UFO challenge. And today I'm going to be working on our wreath wall hanging, the quilt as you go or as you sew. And I'll be talking about working on that, do a demo for you. Then I'm going to show you my latest dot painting mandalas. And when I say dot painting, I think this is my latest one. Yes, I did this last night. This is dot painting. And I'm going to actually show you how to make this. Okay? So I've got those supplies. Then I'm going to show you, so that I'm going to demo the wreath wall hanging. I'm going to demo dot painting. And then I'm going to demo the air dry clay ornaments I'm making. Plus, I have a whole box of things I have been working on this week. So I'm going to show you those too. Because I love doing crafts. My Alaska fabric is acting up. So, and the Alaska fabric will not be touched until I get past Christmas. Because I know me. It's like, oh, I should cut this Alaska fabric instead of clean the house. If you like cleaning, come clean my house. So anyway, okay, so I've got several different demos for you today, and then we will do show and tell because we've got a good number of new pictures to share with you. And I want to share with you BB. Oh, she's so wonderful. She sent information about that one photo from Tehran or Tehran. Um, she's got information that she put about it because I thought there's a really unique building and garden kind of thing. And I know more about that now. So we've got good information to share with you. And I didn't make as good a progress on the wreath wall hanging as I thought, but I practiced hard on the dot mandala painting. So let's first come to this wall hanging. Let's see where we are. Here is my backing and batting, and I will show you how we do the quilt as you go. But first, I'm going to bring you over here to show you what I've got for. All right, let me move my cutting board. Let me bring you over here so I can show you what I've been working on. All right. Now, if you want this, this is a free pattern. I didn't get the ornament yet, Marcia, but I will definitely be looking for it, you sweetheart. That was so nice of you. All right. Now, you can get this free wall hanging from the wonderful people at fatquarter.com. And theirs is for 52 by 52 wall hanging. But so what I did is I made up my own pattern so I could shrink it. Pardon me for the hiccups. I wanted to shrink it to 36-inch square. Okay. Now I did have to put a an updated pattern on our site because I had you cutting out too many green strips. I had the same number of green strips as if it were 52 by 52. So on our site, and the new pattern, if anyone wants it, has been updated. All right. What I've done is I've cut all of the background strips to the right lengths, and then I've labeled them. And I put it up in the seam allowance with a bright pen that lets me know which one this is because, otherwise I'm remeasuring all of them. Then I also changed and took away the um, 7-inch wide blocks and just made them 2.5 and 5. And so then I sewed several long strips of all the pieces together. And oh, I see that Mitty's here. Yay. Hi, Mitty. Thank you, Marcia, for saying that. It's so nice because it draws my attention. But then I started cutting all of these strips into the right measurement. And what I do to keep them straight is I find a way to mark them so I know I've already cut that. And on these I put the letter in the seam allowance. And in some places, I used a light seam allowance to make sure that if you couldn't make out the letter on one, let me see. But see how it right here, it's B, and I put it in the seam allowance because I hate having to go back over and redo things. So it's enough for me just to get it done once. So now, let me get this up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I've got 2 strips left to cut. My DGR and my EGR. I need to cut those. And what I've done is all of these are A through G. But if you see a GGR, that just means green. And if it's just the ABC, then that means background or the white. Okay. So yeah, that would count, Crafty. It doesn't, you don't have to have a whole lot to do to it to count it as a UFO and put it in your one of 12. Let me grab O, and I'll have to show you what I got from the fabric warehouse. They had a great sale over, I need a bigger cutting mat. So let me get this loaded here. Move my background and pattern out of the way. All right. So what I did is I cut all of these strips, realized I'd be a little bit short. So I added up the length of the strip, the rest that I need, and then wrote it down and made a strip to be that length. And it was 94 inches. So I made a little more than 94 inches. Now I need, for strip DGR, I need two 22 inches. And this is a 24-inch thing. So this is perfect. Now, don't forget that don't forget your seam allowance. So if it says 22, I've got to add another half an inch. So I need 22 and a half. So I line it up over here. It goes a quarter of an inch off. And I come back here and I know 22 and a quarter. Let me get a little slot ruler right here. Put it on 22 and a quarter. All right. So there's one. And let me write on it too before I forget. This one is going to be D. All right. So 22 and a half is what I need. Okay. I didn't run this one over the extra quarter inch, so I need to cut it 22 and a half. This is 22, and then I need to go half more. But I think I forgot to put in the seam allowances. But pick a place where you can see, pick a lighter place on the fabric. And as long as it's in a seam allowance, go ahead and mark it. So here is another D. I'm sorry, not a G, a D. Okay. Well, that's even easier to draw. So now I've got my 2 D's done. And then I need 2 E's that are 24 and a half inches because I'm adding that seam allowance. So this time I'm going to let it run over there. And then I know that's going to do it. And on here, I will put E in this seam allowance. All right. So there's one E. And whoa, I thought I had sewn plenty extra, but I just did enough. Okay. So now mark this one, and now all my cutting is done. And I'm not putting EGR because I already can look at it and tell you it's green. Okay, so now I've got my two. So now all of my strips are done. All right, so that was E. Now I'll mark on my paper so I don't accidentally cut too many. That now all my strips are done. All right, so I have sewn the first 36-inch white strip on this. And I'm going to tell you, you might see all kinds of scraps of batting because I love these quilts are not going to be entered in any kind of show. This is just for fun. And I now need strip B. So I know I saw a B. I don't think that's C. Okay, I need B. I know we saw it. Here's a B. Okay, so I'm going to use this one. Put this to the side. Then I need the two background strips that are 11 and a half. So I'm going to look here, 9.5. This is a 36. This is for each edge. 7. That's an I. Yeah, that's an I. That's 5.5. Don't need that. Okay. Now what is this one? This is H or 10. And this, some of them, it's like I put a letter and some I put a number. Oops. And this is 4 of this one. I think that's H. Okay. Well, this better be. Yes, this, the final one is it. So what I need is I need 2 of these. Okay. And I'm not sure I wrote on here. So this is 11. This pen is not a very good pen. Let me find a better one. 11 and a half. 11.5. All right, good. Now I'll know when I go to pick up that one. All right. So what I have to do first with this is I have to take one of these white strips and put it on either side of the green strip. I wanted to make this so easy. So if you feel like doing it before Christmas, it won't be a future UFO. So each of the point of each of these strips, and always make sure when you do tone of tone that you have the right side, tone on tone. And for people like Vicky, tone on tone is where they print white on white fabric. Or they could print green on green fabric. But it's the same tone. All right, here I go. Now, real quickly, let me turn on my iron. Now, since I have no more cutting to do, I'm going to remove this mat so that I don't accidentally iron it, because that would ruin my day. All right, so now let me give quick ironing to these. Because, and the reason I want to iron these strips is because this is going to be the real only chance that I have to get this done right. Because once it's sewn in place, whatever wrinkles are there are there. For one thing is I'm using polyester batting, and you don't want to do a lot of ironing on that because you can melt it or compact it. So it needs to be well ironed before you put it on. Okay. All right. Right. I think that will do it. Now, I come back here. The one thing I noticed that I'm going to have to be careful of, besides the fact that there are safety pins along here that I don't want to sew on, that would ruin my day. But also, I have to make sure that I'm sewing completely parallel to the first strip. This first strip has been put on by sewing it along that one edge. So now I'm going to come in here and put right sides together. And the reason you put right sides together is once you stitch, 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 then when you flip it open, you have sewn the two strips together, and you've also quilted it, because on the back of this, every line you sew is quilting. So I like these because, especially for decoration, you want to have a homemade decoration, but you don't want it to overwhelm you. This is not an heirloom quilt or a show quilt. This is just for fun or gift or whatever nice. Shining a black light on white fabric that has a pattern will help you see which is the right side. That's brilliant. I love that. Or use a magnifying glass, or I find just really good lighting. The older we get, especially. So I'm going to line these up, and don't pay attention to my little scraps. I like this is a perfect um, way to get rid of all your little scraps of batting. So, okay, let me get this under the needle, the needle, yeah. All right, so I've got this rolled up. It's rolled, and I can unroll it as I sew. And I'm going to be extremely cautious not to run over any safety pins, because that will kind of mess up your day. I'll never forget when Alex Anderson talked on her show. She hit a needle and it broke the main gear of her sewing machine. She had to have that replaced. That's an expensive mistake. So I have checked, and I don't think I have another pin until right. Well, I don't even see one. All right. I must have already removed the one I had there. Okay. So, and make sure you know which way to turn your seams. You don't want to have a seam turned towards the lighter fabric. Then there's too good of a chance that it will show through. Okay. And I'm just making sure that I stay right in line with the other one. And that tells you too, when you put that first strip on, try to put it as straight as possible. Okay. And here is a pin here, but I've already removed the other one. Okay. Here I go. It's just making sure that your backing and batting stays flat. That's why I pinned it too, to make sure it doesn't bunch up. Make sure that these strips stay perfectly aligned, right sides together, which means your first strip has to be sewn facing up. Okay, because that one doesn't get flipped. That one's the starter strip. All right, keep sewing, keeping my seam allowances pointing to the direction that I wanted. Oh, I know another thing I was going to tell you is tonight after the show, I'm going to be meeting my daughter at the local movie theater. We're going to see the Elf movie. And I know you can see Elf on on TV, but that looks like the only good choice for a holiday movie at the theater. And it's so much fun to go see it on the big screen. So we're going to meet at the movie theater and see Elf, and I'm going to enjoy some popcorn. All right, it looks like these strips hanging over a wee bit. I'm curious what that's going to mean. And what I am going to do right now is bring this over here, and I'm going to carefully iron this just along the stitching line. Okay, just along the stitching line because I don't want to crush the batting too much, but I want to make sure I've got a nice crisp line and it's laying flat before I sew the next strip on. Now, let's say, okay, well, that's nice that you're quilting as you go, but what if I want to do some more quilting on it? What if I want to quilt it so it looks like it's actually boughs of pine? Well, you can do that. But this way, if you don't have time to do that, then do you see your quilting lines? You now have 2 lines of quilting. All right. I'm going to do one more, and then I will work on this week and show you the finished one next Sunday. All right. Let me see. All right. Now, so I've got the first 2 lines done. Let me move them out of the way. The next one I need is green C. So let me find my green C. Hello. I think this is one. This is G. Okay, that's G. Then D. That's D. F. It'll be the last one as you. Here we go. C. So now I take one of these. I take 2 of the 9.5 inch. Okay, 2 of the 9.5. Was that the first? Yeah, right here. So I take 2 of this strip. And let me show you why again. All right, so I started with the A on the bottom. There's an A on the top and an A on the bottom. So long as that if they have the same letter, it means that it's same length. I just got through putting B and BGR and B together. Now I'm doing row C. You notice the green is longer, which means the background is shorter. So now that's what we're going to, and that's the way you work all the way up. Now, when you get to these, you're going to have a background, a green, background, green, background. Very simply laid out. All right. What method would you use to make this a hanging quilt? This could, you can do a sleeve, or you can use the little curtain rod with the clips and just clip it. Most of the time, I only have added hanging sleeves when I send one to a show. But otherwise, I just get the little curtain, get a curtain rod that's a little bit sturdy, but they're pretty inexpensive. And then it comes with the little clips you squeeze and it clips on to the top of the quilt. That's my favorite way of hanging them. Okay, so now I've got the one background on that. Let me put the other background on this end. Okay, here we go. And I love you asking questions, Vicki. So ask away, hon. Okay, and make sure that's well ironed all the way down. Okay, and this, yeah. I need to clean my iron again. It's dragging. So I must have used something that put a coating on it. So now I'm going to take this pin out of the way, just making sure my little scraps are in place. Then I take and put this right sides together. And this time, I'm just going to make sure, I'm going to look at this because this strip could go either direction. But if I put it on this way, look what would happen. So now I'm going to turn it around this way. Much better. Okay. Now, let me see something. Got to put it kind of where it'll be. Yeah, that still lines up way too much. So now here we go. Now, let's say, despite your best things, you've got something lined up. Use one of your scraps, make a cut here, add a different fabric, and then just make your piece shorter at the end. You understand what I'm trying to say is if your fabrics line up too much, try the other piece you have. That's if it still lines up, then take that piece out of the lineup and replace it with another one. All right, now let me scoot this under the needle. The only problem with this is just keeping the quilt rolled up so that you don't feel like you are wrestling an octopus to get it through this. All right, let me see. Also, I need to contact Miss Jody. I'm a little worried. We might have to give her a little cheerleading right now. Having um, she's having a little problem with her job. So let's keep her in mind, please. And if you have a way of contacting her, I have a feeling she would appreciate a little thought, just remember her because we love our Jody to bits. Okay, so now, all right, I'm going to start sewing now. And just keep it well lined up. As long as you're right on top of the strip below it, then you know you're keeping it straight. You can always, if the edges are a little off, you can always trim those up. And making sure that your strip is well laid down. You don't want them puffing in between. So make sure it's laying down just right before you come along and sew it. Okay, now somewhere along here, there's that pin. Okay, so before I get to there, by the time when I rearrange this, I will have to move that pin. And I make sure that I remind myself because it is too easy to forget. And you get going and it's easy to forget. So here, this pin is now coming out and it's safe to sew again. It probably would have been better if I hadn't used all these scraps together, but I feel like anytime I choose a different path like that, I can teach you something else. You would not want to use piece batting in a show quilt or an heirloom quilt, but for something like this, I think it's marvelous. And it also it cuts down on the junk you have in your sewing room because it's just one more thing that piles up. So if you keep that in mind, you can also take and cut it into small pieces and use it to stuff pillows. I use it all the time. Now, here's another pin. I'm going to go ahead and move that now because it's very close to where I am. And then Put that away. And this one I'm just going to move down. So I will deal with this the next pass, but not now. All right. But my goal is going to be to declutter, to keep decluttering, because I was reading that clutter, it does tend to wear on you and reduce your creativity. And I don't want that to happen. So the one Vicky, if I could say the one downfall of this hobby is you do become quite a collector. So just tell yourself, hey, am I going to honestly finish this? And if the answer is I'm not sure, you may not want to buy it. I love having a stash, but at some point that stash becomes a liability, you know? I'll just have to have Polly over again. Okay, here we go. This is the last row I'm going to sew for you, but this, I think you've kind of got the drift. So, and this did, it kind of replicated here. These two are different. So, you know, that's okay. And I'm just that I don't want to reduce the puffiness of this. So I'm just coming along and ironing right at that seam. And that really helps so that when you sew the next, this row lays flatter. Now, if you have to, you can iron this, but I would recommend you might want to iron it from behind because you just don't want to smush all that wonderful batting that you put in there. So now you see on the back, you have 3 quilting lines. And I know this doesn't match, but I was upstairs cutting, and this is the only kind I had up there. So here we go, and here is the first part of our wreath. And I will show you that. Let me get it in position. All right. And Bonnie's not here with us today, but she's got a sewing deadline. And I told her I totally understand. She's doing that remarkable Jacobean black work. And yes, that was very popular in the 1500s. So 15 to 1600s. But here you go. Now you see the wreath starting to develop. Okay? And I like it being different colors because it gives it that little extra. All righty. And this looks like it's hanging over more on this end. I don't care. This is for fun. All right. So I'm going to be working on this upstairs. This is going to be my cleaning reward. So I like to pack everything I need for this quilt in a nice little bundle. Let me get my little cutting. What did I do with my little cutting mat? Huh. Oh. Okay. Well, I have set it aside, but I will find it. But I'm going to put this back in my basket that goes upstairs. So I'm ready for that. All right. I also owe you some contact information that I had for the home quilt and how do I enlarge? How do I change the look so I can turn into an art quilt? I will make sure I get that for you. I know where my cutting board is. I put it right down here at my feet. So I like using that little mat upstairs. All right, so now the wreath wall hanging, that part of the demo is done. Now I will show you the Christmas decorations that I've been working on. Stephanie, hi. It is so nice to meet you. Hello. So now I'm going to bring this over and show you what I've been working on. I tell you what, I get so excited about working on this stuff. I have now made, let me see how many, because I want everybody in my family to get one. And these are so easy. A toilet paper ring, take a toilet paper roll and cut them. Next Sunday on the house, I'm just going to have the have the drawing done on the muslin. Make sure the muslin is backed with, yeah, these, okay. These are what I've made so far. I've got a couple more, and I want to make sure grandkids have them. I may even put them on the outside of the package instead of a bow, and it'll have the little ornament hook. But yeah, for next week, I would have, this is great. Thank you, Stephanie. There's our Jody. There is our Jody. I was just telling everybody to reach out to you, that you're frustrated with your job. That's all I said. And that we wanted to make sure you knew we loved you and we're rooting for you and missing you. I love this one now, the 2-color one. So if you want to know how to make these, I made one last week on here. And so I've got 3 kids. There are 2 spouses, up 6 grandkids. I've got a few more to make. So here are and they're so easy. But last week's show, I actually made one. So if you go back to that, you'll see how to make them. They're not knitted or anything. It's very, very easy. Okay. Mark said, why are you going to teach them how to do a mandala when there's so many professionals on YouTube? And I said, because I just want to give them a little intro, and that way they'll know whether or not they're interested in that. All right. So the first thing, I'll show you these mandalas in a minute, but I had gotten some glue sticks that had glitter glue on them. Charlene Lawson, hi, sweetie. Hi. So I took the glue sticks, put them in the little miniature glue gun, and I glued on here. But I don't think the blobs are as pretty as I was hoping it would be. So I think for a design like this, I'm still going to stick to glitter and glue. Now, here's another example. And another problem with using these, if you're done with gold and you go to put in silver, or you're done with silver and you go to put in gold, you waste a lot getting it out of the gun so you can switch to the next color. And there's no way to get around that because you have to have a stick in there. I mean, I guess you could do more silver on one, have the new gold stick in there, and as soon as it starts showing gold, then switch over. But have it drawn onto the muslin, Mary, and onto a piece of paper that's going to act as the pattern over it. Because when you put your pieces on, you cover the drawing on the muslin because you glue the pieces to it. And if you need another pattern to lay on top so you can make sure you can see the pattern still. So, but do you see where that silver came through before the gold? So these are cute enough, but they're not as pretty, I think, as I could do with a nice firm glue and sprinkle my own glitter. The one good thing is there's no glitter to rub off. So, okay, here's another one I did. And, if you put them on a multicolored ball, then it looks better. So this ball, my favorite little Lumiere paints, I just took and put some paint in there and watched it roll down the side, and then put a different color and a different color, and then kind of shook it around. And this is what it comes out with. And it takes a long time to dry. I have, well, thank you, Charlene. I take and I put it on a piece of styrofoam with a skewer that holds it up so the excess can drain out. And it takes days to dry. So don't wait till the last minute to do these. But these are, the paint is on the inside, then the decorations on the outside. So, and I like that because it keeps the paint looking brighter. It keeps it from chipping or scratching off. So that's how I did this one too. This is just the blue Lumiere paint. And there's that. This was just a good old white paint put inside. See inside? And then I am so frugal. I drain it into the next one. Just acrylic. Oh, the Lumiere. You can get them in a collection. This is by Jacquard. Jacquard is one of my favorite paint and dye companies. It's called Lumiere, like French for light. And they're pearlescent metallic paints. I got the starter kit because it's cheaper, and I love the little starter kit, and it has all these different colors. But this is just good old white acrylic. They're all acrylic paints, just depends on who makes what. Because these are just, okay, give you an example. These are the flat acrylic. This is just deco art, whatever kind of acrylic you can buy at any craft store. But then if you use the metallics, you get a different look. Here's metallics. So it just depends the look you're going for, okay? And I've got some acrylics. Shuttle art are these that I've gotten, and sets. I get them on Amazon, whatever. But those are also good. Here is a ball. I painted the inside, and then I glued fake rhinestones on. So just something different. This is my favorite thing, Vicki. I love doing these. Now, this was one. I wanted stripes, and then I put white acrylic. I used the Lumiere to do stripes, and then I put the white, and the white melted the other. But look how pretty it is. So I said, okay, well, it's not what I planned, but I like it. And then I just did a few little dots, swirls, just to jazz it up a little. And can you hear that? That is the tip of a pen that I had stuck inside of it so I could hold it. This one I think is absolutely gorgeous. I don't know how I think because I've been staying up till 4 a.m. every day this week, but I've got to stop that. Oh, here's another one of my hats. Okay, now I have 3 left to make. Oh, I forgot Mark and I. Never mind, 5. Then I just take these inexpensive flat pieces of wood. I bought this box of that little miniature old-fashioned Christmas. And old-fashioned Christmas cards, and I glue these on, and then I paint the edges with gold paint, gold metallic paint, and then I put a layer of my triple thick acrylic sealer on them. Then on the back, I will paint the back and put who it's to and love from me and the year. So, and when I go do my cancer recheck, it's right before Christmas, so I take bunches of these things, and everybody who smiles at me, who is kind to me on the way to go do that, I will give them um, a little gift and thank them, because it's tricky going in for a cancer recheck. But so this is a sweet one. I think this one's for one of my grandkids. I have 2 gorgeous Santas. Oh, although this one is it Santa on a train? That's for one of the grandsons. But I just put these and you can print out your own pictures to put on them. And so here's just a few that I've done. And these are pretty inexpensive. Now, these don't look fancy, but I've got beautiful ribbons I've bought or twine. I've got little greenery, little artificial greenery, little bells or little, thank you, Vicky. It's this one is going to be my third year checkup. And so I'm pretty relaxed about it. And after this one, I only have to have one a year, which is going to be a relief. But thank you, hon. And okay, so um but I will make sure to write something kind on these for whoever ends up getting them. But I just am so I gosh, I remember Andy Williams. I remember. So anyway, so here these are. I'm going to make more of these. Okay, so let me put some of these. Oh, but by the time I put the ribbon and miniature pine cones and artificial greenery and a bell or something like that, they're going to look a lot prettier. One thing I did like about the glue sticks is this one. The green glue sticks used to make the holly leaves, the red glue sticks to make the berries, and I like it. I like how it sits above the surface. I think it's kind of cool. So I think for the remaining glue sticks, I'm going to do things like this instead of doing the little drips of glitter. And this, I put silver, white, and blue in the ball. And I would just shake it every couple hours. And it took a couple days to dry. And then I always drain them upside down to get every last bit out. But isn't that pretty? And the back to me kind of looks like a sky. I think it's so pretty. So I have fun just experimenting. All right, so let me get up my little hats and these sweet little ornaments. And be careful. Mark was asking me, why did I want the point on the skewers when I put them in the styrofoam? Because you got to be careful when you put them upside down to dry. If you let them move around, it'll scratch it. Now, I can fix that by taking a skewer and putting white paint on the bottom and going in it, coming in through this way and touching those up. And I will do that. But I'd rather them not. You know what? I like these flat ornaments. I'm going to do some painting on them. I'm going to paint snowy landscapes, and these are wonderful. Much easier than doing a round ornament. So these are my new favorite. All right, so here are my mandalas. Now, I'm going to tell you this got to come with a disclaimer, and I'm going to tell you that I am not an expert on dot painting mandalas. In fact, I left an ornament upstairs that was pretty ugly. So I should have brought it down just to show you. My first success, well, I tried this first. It's not awful, but it's just too busy. It doesn't have the same rhyme or reason as the other ones I like. Also, I thought this was going to be a great color on the ornament, but it's really hard to make the colors you put on there stand out. So I consider this one not a good example. Okay, not good. All right, now the first successful one I had was this one. And what I did is I'm going to give you a link to a woman named Susan Nelson Creations. She's my favorite. There are a lot of amazing dot painters on YouTube, but she will do these in real time so I can keep up with her. And so I managed to get the tools very cheaply. Even I guess they're at Amazon. And let me show you. Now, she uses some silicone tools that look awesome, but I got all of these tools. This one, I didn't clean this one off. Try to keep them clean. But I got these tools for $5.99. That's pretty darn good. And I'm sure you all have acrylic paints in the house. So you don't have to have a special kind of paint. You don't have to, if you didn't want to use these, you could use popsicle sticks or skewers. But these are really good. And so in this one, she showed making the dot. A lot of these are two colors. You put the base color first, and then when it's dry, you come back and put another dot of color. So there's these little tricks like these. It makes them look more complicated than they are, but it takes practice. And I find I make a better mandala if I make it while I'm watching her make it. And it reminds me, I tend to be heavy handed. I tend to get carried away, things like that. So it's better if I follow her more closely. But last weekend, I told you I haven't done a good enough job and I'm not ready to show you yet, but I'm a little better this week. Now, this, I love this one I did. I don't know how I got it so good because I've tried since then. This one I had to rub off. This is the third attempt. I would get going and it just looked so sloppy. And I just take warm water and I wash the whole thing off and do it again. But this one to me is spectacular. This one is a little more heavy handed. Can you see the difference? So I'm going to see if I can do a better job today. Once these are painted and they fully dry, then I brush a coat of, in fact, I had some here. This is what I love to use from anything that, whoops, never mind. This is fabric painting medium, which I need to take upstairs. If you take any kind of gel medium and put in the paints, then they will smooth. They'll get smooth. But I meant to show you Deco Art triple thick. That's what it looks just like this, except the words are different. But I love the triple thick. It dries fast. It's easy to brush on. It's self-leveling. I mean, just gives it a nice shine. This also protects it from being scratched. And is that the same polish? Hmm. There's a heart blocking one of your words. So when somebody else types, I'll be able to see exactly what you're saying. But then this one I did. So this one is for my daughter-in-law. This one is for my daughter who loves blues. This one is my daughter who loves the more. I'm making a cowl with some yarn that's dark blue and a little bit of green and some rose and purple. And she said, I love that color. Okay, here we go. Egg painting. Um, I it thank you, Charlene. Y'all are so sweet. Um, yeah, that I like the triple thick because oh, and this is not exact. This is not Pasanki. Pasanki is actually Poland, Ukraine, areas like that. That's slightly different, but they use some of the same methods. This is more dots and these little swirls. But so anyway, this is for my other daughter. And then here is one I did by myself. And it's not bad, but I don't know. I have a hard time sometimes picking what colors to use, when to do what dots. So that's okay. But once again, I don't like it on this color. I'm liking the ones on black because black gives it real definition. And these were all made by taking those clear, normally these are clear plastic, and putting black paint in them, rolling it around to cover everything, dump the excess out in another ball. And then I do have a red one upstairs I'm going to try, but I dump the excess into the next one, then let it dry upside down so any excess can run out. Because if you let the paint just sit in the bottom, it'll mold before it dries. So you have to get it out so it'll dry. But this one I did last night and I overdid it, but I rubbed it off once, started again. And when I realized I was overdoing it, I was being too ham-handed, then I said, too late. I'm going to finish this and then I'll try it again later. I do have a red ball upstairs. I'm going to try and a gold ball. That sounds really pretty. So anyway, all right. I'll put these away so I can spend time. Here is, I use a skewer like with a Q-tip if I need to be able to get inside to something. Oh gosh, thank you. I tell you, if you saw the house upstairs, I haven't vacuumed in a while. But okay, you know what? I think I forgot to bring, oh, here we go. I forgot to, accidentally took upstairs my, let me cut this. I accidentally took upstairs my silicone worksheet, which that's not going to help. Okay, I'll just flip it over then. All right. So now let me show you what I've got. I thought I brought down an extra. Ah, I thought I brought down. Hold on just a second because I thought I brought down one. Might have to get it from Mark. I'll be right. Wait a minute. I know I packed one. I'll be right back. Oh, good. Can I have a black ball? It has it on my sitting on my grainer. Yeah, black flat ball that I've been using to paint on. Thank you, sweetheart. Okay, here I am. Really thought I had packed things very well today. Okay. Now, normally when you see these people get ready to get a mandala set up, they would have a chalk pencil or wax pencil and they would draw this grid on it. So you can find these online and copy them out so it just kind of reminds you how to do the grid. What I did is printed out this one that looks relatively simple. So what I'm going to do right now is get my little paint tray and I'm going to try. This is fabric medium, but I think it will be just fine as a paint conditioner. So, and I'm going to mix the colors with this. I don't need that green. So what I need for this one, let me tilt this down first so you can, I want you to be able to see all what I'm doing. So this, I need white. Now let me see. I think this white is a little, oh boy, that's getting a wee. I was hoping to use this white. Let me find a paintbrush and see if I can squeegee some out of that. Okay, and what I've done is I'm getting some little paint cups because when you mix up this paint, I always mix up too much and you don't want it to dry out. Ha ha, here we go. I would like to use this pearly paint. I need to find some more. I always use my whites the most. So I'm just going to get this amount of this white pearly. And then, okay, and then we take this, scrape. It's precious stuff, I tell you. Okay. All right. Yeah, when I do get my tree up, I'll have to take a picture of these ornaments on the tree. Okay. All right. So there's my white paint. Now let me grab around here. All right. So I've got my white. Now I'm going to let me wipe this off. I am so hard on paintbrushes because I forget to have a cup of water when I need it, but I'll wipe the excess off and then take it upstairs as soon as we're done. So on this ornament, I need white, I need blue, and I'm going to try just to put a little bit because a little bit goes a long way. I'm going to put gold. This is just metallic acrylic. Gold, I'm going to put a little purple. Now I'm going to put two little piles of purple. And the reason is on here, I can see she's got a pinky purple and a purple. So I'm going to put pink down, but I'm going to leave a place to mix pink and purple. Okay, so I'm going to put one little patch of purple right here. And then another little bit over here so I can mix it. And now normally I would use just a touch more paint, but I try not to use too much. I am too cheap. All right. And then I'm going to, for my pink, I'm going to use some Lumiere paint. So I'm going to put some over here for this purple, and then I'm going to put a patch of pink over here. Keep them far enough away that they don't blend. I've been having trouble with getting my blue paint to flow. So I'm going to come here with this Deco Art because this is just an acrylic medium. This is like the what makes up the paint without having I'm going to put a little bit for each color so I can use it. But it's what they have in paints without pigment. So it is like the acrylic base. All right. So now I'm going to start first with gold. So I'm going to mix this medium in with the gold real good. And I'm hoping it'll just make it easier to work with and maybe even slow it down from drying too fast. All right. Now, for the beginning dot on this, and let me tell you, I don't know if you noticed, but some of my dots are way off center. This is too far this way and down. So since I hold it in my right hand and I'm left-handed, the dot tends to be off center. So I'm going to work hard this time. This is where these come in handy, okay? You want a nice big tip. I'm going to come and dip it lightly into the gold paint. Then I'm going to come, and I don't like marking mine. I like doing it freestyle. I'm going to come put it in close to the center, I think, as possible. And then since this is a bigger dot, I'm going to just lightly kind of make a circular motion. And you want to make sure you get it as round as you can. And the extra paint on there is just fine. I have a slight flat spot there. There we go. That's much better. You don't overdo it though. You may have to leave it just a little short of perfect. Okay, so that's good. And then you try to get in the habit of always wiping off the tool. I need another rag here. Okay. Here we go. All right. So now I've got my gold dot. The next thing I'm going to use a small tool like this. I've tried to figure out what numbers they are. Oops. Let me mix that acrylic medium in with this white paint, especially because it looks like that white paint, since there's so little in the jar, it's already a wee bit dry. And she mixes up to 50% the medium in with the paint. So I know that I'm not going to over add. All right, so I'm mixing in real good. And boy, do you see how it softens the paint down? That's just what I want. I don't want it to crust over. If it does crust over, you immediately lose the ability to have it level, to have it smooth itself. So I'm taking a tiny end here, dipping it in paint. Then it shows these, let me show you. It shows these tiny little dashes kind of thing. See around the gold? So what I'm going to do, I usually start as if I'm on a clock. And I do 12, 6, 3, and 9. But I come in here and I kind of put it on and slightly do a circle and then draw it out. Just like that. Whoops, that lamp is now causing a problem. But see that? There you go. So then I did 12. Now I'm going to come down here and do 6. And you do it reasonably close. Oops, guess what? I just did it the opposite way. Oh, well. No, it's still time. I can start over. Okay. If I start changing things too much, keep Q-tips around. Q-tips are great for getting off the excess paint. Now I'm going to start here. Let me move you in just a little closer. Okay. I have to dip it almost every time. Dip it in, make a little round circle, and draw it in lighter and lighter and lighter. Lighter pressure. That's one thing I'm learning. When I tell you I'm ham-handed, it just means a little heavy-handed. And I've got to learn to just see. And that's not as pretty as the first one, but that's okay. Just keep going. And you start it. This one I'm starting about 1/4 of an inch away from the center of the gold and then pulling it towards the gold. Don't touch the gold or else you'll mix the paints. It's not good. You try to keep them from touching each other like that. Now, did I get any gold on it? I don't see any. But now I have my 4 and she's got a bunch on here. So what I'll come in and do next is I'll come in between. I'll come in at 10 o'clock on the circle and do that. Then I'll come over here at 2 o'clock. Just kind of do a little bit of a round circle and then draw it in. And not all of them are perfect because I'm still very new. But you notice I skip spaces when I'm doing this. The reason I skip spaces is because it lets the others set up a little bit, but mainly it's because it helps me keep the spacing in lined up better. If I just started and going around, I would probably have some of them closer, some of them farther apart. It would be a pain. So see, so far it's not bad, right? Oh, Marsha, I love that you still have it. Okay. So here. So it's just a matter of, you saw how easy it was for me to wipe off the mistake and start again. If this starts to dry a little bit, then just dampen your paper towel and that should take it off. But it's a matter of learning how much paint to have on the little tool and how much paint to not have on it. If it's too much, it's bad. If it's too little, it's bad. But just the fact that you make a little bit of a circle and then you draw this in, it naturally wants to get smaller and smaller as you go in. Now, how you can tell I'm new is they don't all perfectly match up right here. If it's something is really noticeable, go back and try to touch it up just a little. Make it a little bit longer. Get that roundness going again. Then it's less noticeable. Okay? So now we've done that. And I wipe off the tool. All right. The next thing is to make the blue, the blue dots. Okay. Whoops. Next thing, make the blue dots. So I'm going to need a little larger one. Here, this end is larger. So let me mix in the medium with this blue paint because I know this blue paint has already given me trouble with not wanting to flow. If it dries too fast, then it just gets all bunched up and nasty. You want it soft and flowy. There we go. So you could use a gel. You know how we use a gel with ink tints? You could use just a um, aloe gel. You could use a fabric medium, any kind of medium like that. Now we're going to take the bigger end, which, let me see. Yeah, this is the bigger end. And I sometimes I dab it a couple times to make sure I've got paint on there. And now I'm just going to start at 12 and just go around until I like the size of it. That looks pretty good. Whoops. Okay. And the hardest thing for me is she wants you to put them close but not touching. So you just have to pay attention here. All right, let me see if I can speed this up a little bit because I think I can hear somebody snoring. So let me speed this up just a little. And you learn not to rub your hand. Don't rub it against anything. That's another reason I like these flat rounds because they're so easy to hold on to. I forgot to tell you too, it's really good to take this surface, the paint's on the inside, but take this surface and you can wipe it with a little rubbing alcohol to make sure the paint stick good. But this can be kind of fun, although I've learned that I'm lucky if I get one made at a time because I end up getting impatient or my hand gets too tired and I end up getting sloppy or sometimes just wanting to get it done. If that's the case, cover your paints, put it down, and go do something else because you don't want to mess up the good work you've done because you're too tired to continue. And it does take concentration and carefulness. Okay? So see, there we go. Now, instead of doing the other half, I'm going to go ahead and wipe this off and come do the next row. The next row, you'd think it was those pinks, but see the little violet in between? And she has the violets put right in between the gap of Katie's on here. Hi, Katie. Hi, sweetie. Oh, you've been decorating for Christmas. Here is an ornament I made for you. So when you come up here, this is your this time's ornament. Hi, sweetheart. Oh, I love that, hon. I can't wait to see your decorations. So now I'm going to go back to the smaller end of this. And okay, the smaller end of this, I'm going to go back to I need the violet, not the purple, but the one where it's mixed with pink. So I'm going to mix this up. Well, how sweet. Katie, I love seeing you here. I love these decorations, that's for sure. I'm determined. I can't wait. Katie's going to be up here before too long, and I can't wait. We're going to work on some kind of craft or gingerbread house or something. All right, so I take the smaller end. I pick up now some of this rosy violet, and I go and I put it, let's see if you can see. I put it near, but right in the kind of space between those two. I'm hoping you see what I mean by that. Yep, she's the one with the sheep. She is my oh, hi Debbie. My Katie is the felt artist. She's an artist in many ways, but yep, she's my sheep girl. She hasn't seen my surprise little sheep ornament I made her. So these I'm keeping slightly smaller than the blue ones. Okay, and that's important too. If I'm not super careful, they get a little muddy. Yeah, Debbie Holt moved from Houston to Maryland, and she's like up in Frederick, Maryland. Beautiful, more towards the mountains. And but my Katie's on the eastern shore, and I just love her life. Okay, so I'm going to go around to half of these. I'm just going to do half because, like I said, I don't want you to fall asleep. It's one thing if you're doing it. If you're just watching someone do it, then it becomes ASMR and then you start getting sleepy. All right, so here's halfway. And so far, I've got to be honest, looking pretty good. I'm staying consistent. I know I'm spoiling all my secrets. I'm terrible. Oh, you are doing great. You are so funny. Oh, and Vicky Sabo, she is one of our new members. We're so tickled. So now the next thing is the pink dots. Okay. Now you see the two tiny little white dots that are in between the violet ones? You don't do those right away. You give the pink a chance to set up a little bit. So we're going to move straight to the bigger pink ones. And for the bigger pink ones, I've got a bigger tip right here. And as the dots get bigger, of course, there's less of them on there. And these pink ones are now set to be right in the middle of the violet ones. So, whoops, let me mix in a little of this medium into my pink paint. So far, I'm really liking what that medium does for the paint. And like I told you, it's just the acrylic base liquid without pigments. That's all it is. Because I've tried adding water, but then I think, makes the paint set up faster. So use a fabric medium or any kind of medium. All right, so now I've got a bigger tip on this one. So I'm going to come in here and put it real close, but in the middle of the violet ones. Let me make a couple and then I'll hold it so you can see it. And I think these need to be bigger. So to make them slightly bigger, just kind of do a little tiny circle on the surface. And there. I have to have that light, but it really does glare on this. So you see this so far? All right, sweetie. Take good care, Katie. I can't wait to see you, sweetheart. All right, so here I go. Go right in between the violet ones and do another dot. So now I'm just going to continue. I want to do the half, down to the half. And let's say by the time I go upstairs to finish this, the paints have crusted over, then I will wash them away and get new paints going. It's not worth to even try to paint with the setup paints, because see how you need that flowiness for them to go on good and to level and keep that luminosity. The moment they start getting too dry and they start looking clumpy, then you lose the shine, you lose the smoothness, and that makes a huge difference. A huge difference. All right, so now I've done the pinks. Now that I've done the pinks, I can go back and do the two tiny white dots. The two tiny white ones in between the violet ones. So I come in here with the violet ones and I do a dot, careful little dot, little tiny dot. You can't even really see that. Hopefully, as I do more, you'll see it. But I do a dot and a dot. See the two little dots? Mm. Uh, okay. I'll do a dot, dot. And it's just really paying attention. It's not something you can do while watching TV. I mean, you can, but you won't watch the TV, that's for sure. So just a little dot, and it's all by the how hard you push down the paint. If I were to go ahead and actually bump the surface, it would probably make the dot too thick. So you just touch and touch, barely, and then you dip. I can get two dots out of one dip, but you have to do it again to do the next. The dots get smaller in succession, and I'll show you that. One of the things about the dot painting is you'll do, well, you know what? I'm not going to have time to even show you that. So watch this. The neat thing with this, let's say you have a circle, and what you'll, well, let me make a circle. Hold on. Let me get some purple and make a circle. I can take this off later. Okay, see that purple circle? All right. Let me wipe this off. Then I come in and dip in the white, and I do a large dot at the bottom, but then watch what happens as I do successive dottings. Do you see how they fade off? That's the funniest thing. Oh, thank you. And so here, so watch this. So the first one will be pretty good. Then watch what happens as you continue to go around. They naturally get smaller and smaller and smaller. And that is one of the things I love about dot painting. Now, this is not going to be on here, so I'm going to take it off. It's real easy to get off when it's wet. Once it dries, you kind of have to take a toothpick and scrape at it. A lot of practice. Okay, so now the next thing, the coolest thing, I've never done this before, but this should be really cool. With dot painting, you always start at the top, the thick part. So in this one, I start with this thick, and then I do it a little half swirl down and around. See that? So I do it just a little bit above the top of the pink, and then swirl down and around. And I've never done this design, but I love it. And it's just, to me, the designs look pretty happy and playful. So just do it a little bigger part and then swirl it down and around. So that's the next step. Just don't hit the pink. Although I'm hoping the pink is a little set up But you got to make sure where this gets hard is making sure they stay the same size. Because sometimes, if I'm not careful, they get bigger or smaller, and that will mess up the look. Actually, I like painting with you here because I'm a lot more careful. I don't get as distracted when you're here. There we go. All right, so now we've done that step. Then the next step is a larger white dot. It's almost the size of the pink ones. And this one, they just they just they start at the top. Let me see. I'm going to put one here. Whoops. That paint had a little setup part on it, and it made a little bit of a mess. So I clean it up the best I can, but I may have to scrape a little bit off more later. I didn't bring down, oh, I see. It's it's the painter part that has something on it. Okay. Now it's clean. All right. So I'm just going to come in here and put these pretty close together like this. That bothers me that that mess that had a little piece of lint on it, but I know I can clean it up. Okay. The other day I had the Philadelphia story on while I was doing one. I love that because then next time I see the Philadelphia story, I'll think about making these. But you see how this is going now? And then one of the other things that I like about this is it will have moments where you can do those swirls, and you do them in light and dark shades of one or two colors. So I think that part is beautiful, but I don't think I'm ready. Well, I'm almost ready to do it. I'll show you how to do one of those. Let me just finish this one half here. Whoops, that was not, that's more of a rectangle than a circle. So let me slow down. I got too excited thinking about the next step. Sometimes if it doesn't make a nice pretty circle, it means you don't have enough paint on it. Whoops, that one's too far away. So I'm going to take that off. All right. I've got to concentrate. I've got to keep the same distance from each other and from the row before it. Okay. All right. So now I've done my half. All right. So here, that's too far away too. Okay. Sometimes like this white paint is not, it's not as thick in some ways as I would like. So you may have to go over and put a second dotting, so to speak. All right, so now I can do the other two tricky parts of this. If you look at this, you'll now see on the other side, the next side of the white dots, you've got that funny little curly Q. Then you see how they have the little swirls that come down, that some are in purple, some are in pink, but see the outside edge, I'm not going to be able to do that, but I love how it goes from pink to violet to purple. Do you see that? So that's what we're going to work towards. So I'm going to first do the swirl, and I don't think I can do it with one of these. I think I'm going to have to go down a notch. I'm going to use this size. Okay, dip it in gold, and then right in the middle between 2 white dots. I'm going to kind of do a little this. This is where it's going to be tricky for me, because then I have to swirl. Oops. Actually, I think I did that upside down. Oh well. This time I'm going to leave it because that's a tricky thing to do. So hold on. Let me see. I do this. One of the problems when I do these is I'm about positive a right-handed person did it and I'm not. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a way. There's a way I have learned to make this easier. I'm going to do a few of these dots, okay, with plenty of paint. Then I'm going to turn it over and get the really fine end. And then I'm going to stick it in the paint that's already there, drag it out and down, drag it out and down. The benefit of this is you can get the movement without all, if you have all that paint on the end of the bigger end, it's really hard to make a clean swoop. So I'm just staying with this small end to do the swoop. I like my first one best, so I will have to work on that. All right, so now I want to show you those other swoops that I love. That is these on either side of the gold swoops, these little things here. So I'm going to, on either side of the little gold thing is, oh, I put my gold things way too close. All right, I just realized I'm going to take the Q-tip and see if I can clean out and just leave every other one. If I put the gold swoops too close together, I've got no room. All right. There we go. And this way it'll allow me to work on those gold swoops better later when I can really concentrate. And let's say, okay, I just kind of got a little gold paint here. Just take the end of your wooden skewer. It does a great job of cleaning up the little bits left behind. Okay, so now I'm going to make the purple swoops on either side of this, and they are going to be bigger out here, and then swoop it in. Okay, just swoop it in. So they're going to be bigger out here, and then swoop it in. And if you need more of a swoop, go back and pull some more out of the center. See that? I'm going to do one more up by the first one. So you kind of make, when you want the fat part of the end, like a teardrop, you kind of do a little circle and then you swoop down. So you start up again, put the dot on there, make a little circle, then swoop down. That's how you do your swoops. All right, so now you've got the purple one. The next one is the pink. So I wiped off this tool good, dip it in the pink. I come here and the pink is a touch longer. So I come just past the end of the purple, make that little fat part of the end, and then swoop it down like this. So come here, make the fat part of the end, and then swoop it down. You see that? Okay, I'll do it one more time on this one, and then I'll show you that last part. Go past the end of the purple, because this one's longer, and then swoop it down. And I tell you what, I'm so happy that I put the medium in it. So there we go. Now, there's not much room in here. And the next color I need is the blue, but this blue has a touch of blue-green, turquoise. Oh, I don't think I think I know what I can do. I'm going to get some of this Lumiere and I'm going to put it over here next to the blue. And then I'm going to take a little bit of that and put it in this blue, trying to get that blue-green. And it needs to be a touch lighter, so I'm going to come steal a little bit of white from this edge and mix that in. Okay, it's supposed to be lighter still. It's really important to try to match the colors the best way you can, because if you don't, then the design gets muddy again. You know, it's all about trying to keep it from being too heavy-handed and too muddy. So now, let me get the tool. And this one is kind of going to be straight. It's not going to be swoopy. So I'm going to come in between these two. I'm going to make the circle up here and then swoop through. And it needs more of a tail on it, so I'll come up again and swoop it down. See it? And just to show you one more time, I'll come over. It's going to be beside this one. So I make a round head and then swoop it down. Whoa, my hand got a little crooked. But if it's not showing up enough, just dab a little more paint and bring it down. So, and then the next thing that's going to be on the other side of these turquoise, this is, to me, this is the fun part. Let me get I got a bigger head on this other end. And on the end of this, you're going to do a dot, a gold dot, then you're going to touch, touch, and touch. 4 touches. And see how it naturally gets smaller and smaller? Now let me do. Sometimes if they don't do it gradual enough, just put a little extra paint on there. Okay? I'm going to do it one more time just right here to show you. So the first one's always the biggest. Then you just do touch, touch, touch. And you get them to graduate down. All right, so I ended up showing you most of it. There'll be another white dot, and there'll be more of the swoops on either color, on either side of it. But I'm hoping that I've let you see some basics of how to do it. Now, if you want to really learn from the best, there are plenty of people, and I want to give a nod to Susan Nelson, who is awesome. And I've taken up so much time with this that I'm not going to have time to show you how I decorate the air dry clay, but I will bring that back next week and do it, because I'm going to show you how to color, how to seal these. So, and if you notice, I put indentions because I've got little pearls, beads that I'm going to glue in there. So I will show you these next week. So, all right. Well, let's go I want to see now what you've been doing. And so let's go look. I'm going to take this baggie, put over my paints to keep them from drying out because I'm so frugal. I'm going to turn off this light and let's go look at pictures because we have some great new pictures. Pardon me. I don't want to unhook us here. I tell you what, we've gotten the tools just right with this, and it works so much better. Okay, let's go see your photos. Oh, and before I do, let me show you something. What I love so much about having people from different states in the United States or entirely different countries. Oops, hold on. I thought Oh, here it is. All right. I had asked, what was that tower that we saw? Remember last week we saw this photo? And I said, I wonder what that is. And if you look, it brings roads in. It's like a huge rotary with this interesting building in the middle. Well, I found out what that is. It used to be the King's Road and building, and now it was renamed by the revolutionaries to be the, I think like the, let me see, is it, I think it's supposed to mean like the Freedom Tower. And then underneath there's a museum. But what a architectural work of art that is. And look at that. Isn't that amazing? So this is in Tehran and in Iran. And I just think it's amazing. So thank you, BB, for letting us know what that is. And as usual, we all worry about repressed peoples and wars. Oh, it's just the world is too wonderful. We don't need to be doing that. Okay, I'm hoping I'm showing you this. This is Susan Nelson Creations. I love her website the best because she will do things in real time. And I love it. She just makes it seem so easy. And she, shows you how to take care of the paints. But I'm going to get little cups with lids and keep my paints in so I don't have to feel like I have to finish it right away. But I love her stuff. She gives you lots of information. If you feel like dot painting might be something you want to do, Susan Nelson Creations. Then someone sent me, I think it was was it Bonnie? I'm trying to remember. I apologize. But how you can, this page, and I will put these down under the listing, but it's how you can cut pieces of tulle, stitch them together to gather them, put glitter on them, and make a tulle Christmas tree. See how they've got the glitter on it? So if some of you would like to make that, I saw that and thought, I'll show that. That's great. So I'll save that up so that I can give you the shortcut to that site. And if you want to just know the name of that site, it's, who knows? I don't know. So I will give you the shortcut to that site soon as we're done. Okay. So now let's go see your pictures. All right. Let's see. Alberta, this will be our final viewing of the cutest kids quilt that I have seen lately. There it is. And it's so humorous and funny. Shows Santa trying to go down a chimney that has a big fire built into it, or Santa's sleigh being beaten by geese. It's just cute. Cute, cute, cute. So thank you, Alberta. All right, now we're going to go. I'm missing our Ann. I need to find out where our Ann went. And if I ever hurt your feelings, I promise I won't have done it on purpose. And I hope, please let me know and let me correct it. But I miss our Ann. She was just so bright and chipper. Then our Betty Meisner and also our Ann was pretty talented. So, okay, here is Betty Meisner. I love this star quilt, a scrappy star with these wonderful hearts on it, and her cute pumpkin that we did over Halloween, and a kitty quilt. You can tell kitty lovers love to show their work. And then I love this basket quilt. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a Mary Mayhem um, version. I did the mystery some years back and love it. And here's our Betty Meisner. Beautiful woman with her hollyhocks. Beautiful. Okay, let's see where we're going now. Miss BB. Okay, and here is, she went to visit family. Miss BB lives in Turkey now, but she went back to visit family who she misses so much. And this is Tehran at night. This is that traffic circle, the freedom circle that I just showed you about. And she has Thanksgiving cactus. And I love it. I have one that's about this color, and I got my first bloom today. It's supposed to be Christmas cactus, but it always makes me happy the first week of December, which I love. So thank you, Miss BB, and thank you for the store information, hon. I mean, the city information. Where did that word come from? So, Miss Bonnie, here is, let me see. Here is her amazing black work. Look how tiny that is. And isn't she doing a magnificent job? But she's got a brand new one that's going to start Wednesday. So she's busy working on that. And it looks like she's got a few other projects she's working on. So love Miss Bonnie's work. All right. Now we're going to, Charlene sent this wonderful UFO that she's working on. And I know she's going to love having this quilt completed. Those colors are great. I love it. She's come a long way ever since that hurricane that, wrecked her house. She's come a long way. I don't think I have any new pictures. No, just some befores. All right, let me then go back and let's see who else. Miss Debbie, her wonderful Chloe dog, and love that Chloe girl. Isn't that a sweet looking puppy? Oh, beautiful. All right, and then this is a wonderful fall quilt she had hanging in her stairway. And it hasn't been that long that she moved into her house. I love it. Oh, in fact, guess what? You'll see how she's hanging her quilt. Just what I was telling you. A curtain rod and the rings with the little clips, pressure clips that hang onto the quilt. And that is also my favorite way to hang a quilt. If you enter a show, then you've got to have a sleeve. But okay, so now let's see who is next. But I know that sweet puppy is taking up a lot of our Debbie's time. All right, want to show you some more of these, the gorgeous. This is our professional quilter, Dolores, and she is awesome. And look at these kitties that she makes. And look at the way she does the thread painting to create the fur and the fluffs. Little tuft under her chin and fluffies here. She is amazing. She does pet portraits by commission. So she's very, very talented. Look at that. Isn't that just amazing? I would love to be able to do something like that. Beautiful work, Dolores. Okay. And if any of you ever want to commission her to do something, let me know and I'll let her know. Miss Jody, I got to put this in because it just makes me laugh every time. Miss Jody has been working on the sighting of, and now his name, I wanted to say Yeti, his name went out of my mind, but he doesn't exist anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. But I tell you what, she did a great job making him, and I love the fabric she used. It's an ombre fabric, so all of this was one fabric. Beautiful. Okay, now Miss Joni. Miss Joni has been busy. Here is her Dresden. I don't know if she calls it a Dresden plate. I love it. The way she finishes the edge make it so much easier. She took her scrap fabric and made rope out of it. I love that. Love, love, love it. Then she took that same Dresden plate idea and made the cutest turkey. Isn't that wonderful? So that's another really easy project to have for holidays. I love it. So thank you, Miss Joni, for showing us those. Now let's see, Miss Mary. Miss Mary, we saw the kitty a couple of times. Let's start here at the Scrappy Granny Square. Love that. She finished it. And she's doing better than me because I only start crocheted things. I never have finished one. Well, I did one. I got to give myself credit. But look at this wonderful, happy, scrappy quilt. Isn't that wonderful? And out of this world curves. We were practicing our curvy, but as usual, she takes it up one notch. It is gorgeous. Way to go. I love when you make a project yours, when you put your imagination into it. Love it. Melanie. Oops, I skipped over Marsha. I'll come right back. And Melanie has been busy, but we've got a couple new photos. Here is her beautiful Miss Willow. I think that all of you can say with me that this puppy has changed Miss Melanie's life so much for the better. And look, they had their backyard fenced in, and now Willow just went out and played in the snow. That's her favorite ball. But look, she must weigh double with all the snow stuck to her fur. But she loves the snow. She loves life. What a happy puppy. We love that puppy. And here is a Halloween quilt she's just finishing up. And I love that. So she's been getting busy, her shoulders doing beautifully, but she is finding, like the rest of us, there's so much to be done. So it's hard to do just what we want. I'm going to show you this because, you know what? I forgot to back out. There we go. This is Marsha Hunn's childhood home farm. It is so cute. And so it just gives you an example of a way that you can style your home quilt to make it your own personal message, your own personal style. It is just beautiful. I love it. And I'm sure there's so many wonderful memories of her childhood home. I've got the hiccups again, people. That's not fair. Okay, so we've done Melanie's. Patricia Fry. She has been busy. I love seeing this too. She's another person that moved in the last year. And moving can really turn your life upside down. So when I see these dear people creating again, it makes me smile because I know that they now feel settled in to their new home. So we're thinking of you, Patricia. Okay, good job. All right, we'll go back. I think we're just about done. Let me see. Polly will show her pet portrait. Oh, can't forget Vicky. Don't let me forget Vicky. Here is Polly's wonderful pet portrait. Now, I don't think she keeps this at home, but I think it's an animal she likes. It's absolutely charming and beautiful. And having cave facet fabrics in it, well, what's not to love? I love that. Okay, so now we'll go back and go down. And are you ready to see Miss Vicky's pictures? They are gorgeous. So, and remember, she's a brand new quilter, but you'd never know it by her work. She recently retired and now can do the things. You know what it's like before when you're working and your kids, and you kind of are the last on the pole, the last on the totem pole. So look at this wonderful rope bowl, fabric rope bowl she made. Then I love this quilt. I'm not sure what you call it. It's kind of made in the idea of a snowball quilt, where you take small squares that cut off the corner and change what would be a square into an unusual. I'm not sure mathematically what that's called, but that's wonderful. And look at this. This is polyester roping. She wanted a more of a rough look. That is gorgeous. She did an outstanding job. Beautiful. If you know how to video yourself making something like that, we would love to have you do it for our group. Here's a different view of it. Look at that. Fantastic. I want to do some more rope bowls. Now, I came home with some new selvage packs so we could do it. But isn't that a sweet quilt? There's the back of it. Love it. Here's her daughter's dog who has short hair and hates to go out in the cold weather. Look at that sweet coat on that puppy. Look at these baskets. These are gorgeous. I've never thought of using black fabric, but it's wonderful. So I can tell that she's enjoying her new crafting time. And look at this beautiful rainbow rug. That is wonderful. I've never made one of those. I've seen people do it and always thought, oh, that'd be so cool to do. Look at this bowl. Isn't that beautiful? That I don't know how she makes it. I think we need a tutorial. That's what we need. And here is how she based a quilt, stretching it over her table and then pinning it. Beautiful. And she was telling me too, or saying it, not telling me, but telling us in the picture that there's something she does with a kind of glue. And I don't know if it's aerosol glue or what, but it's tricky to figure out how to piece together your large quilts. Very tricky. That's really one of the main reasons that I ended up getting a long arm, is so that I can load them separately on the long arm and it puts them together. But that's a big quilt. Good job. All right. I think we've got it. So thank you so much for the new pictures. Continue sending them to OurTimeToQuilt at twc.com. Or if you're a member of our group, you can put them on the site and I can go grab them. And so it works for us all. And that was a lot of fun, but I think I'm tired. I think I shouldn't have stayed up till 3 or 4 a.m. So anyway, aerosol glue the sandwiches. Yeah. Yeah, I know. See, that's the thing. How do you work in that long arm? Darn it. But thank you so much for your time spent with us. I'm amazing. Uh, I'm I'm amazed at your work and your talent. I'm so grateful that you spend this time with me. It makes my week. You knowing you're here drives my creativity. And I can't imagine what I would do without you. So thank you. I will show you the rest of all of this and some more crafts all over the place. She lost her. Yeah, sometimes you have to take a little break. But you know what? Yeah, a rope bowl might bring back. I like how you said sojo. That is so cute. But oh, the quilt behind me. That is Color Crystals. It's Ashley Walters quilt. Angela Walters quilt. And I have not been able to find a current pattern of it. And so if it's not out there and you need to know how to make it, send me an email and I'll see what I can find for you. But the YouTube of it is still up. It's 6 years ago. I started that six years ago, and I'm going to make sure I finish it. So isn't that beautiful? And I think I have forgotten that, but I did look it up because somebody was like, where can you get that pattern? And I looked and I couldn't find it. But I will put a link, something like, oh, there's our Polly. Color Crystals, I think is the name of it. But if you can't find a pattern, reach out to me and I will see. But if you look up Angela Walters and look up Color Crystals, then you'll find it on YouTube where she shows you, she starts making it. But trust me, one, oh, yes, I haven't touched it. That is the Alex Anderson Neutral Blooms. And I've been so busy with all of this other stuff. This I worked on at the retreat. And so that's why I've even got that to show you. And all the components I think are almost made. It's just putting the blocks together. So hopefully after Christmas, I will get to that. But oh my goodness, I can't even begin to think of how many things I need to work on. Thank you for joining me. I want you to do something special just for you. Take good care of yourself. Take care of your heart and soul. And you can't give to others until you take care of yourself first. So thank you for being here. Send your photos in to me at OurTimeToQuilt@twc.com. And I will be here with bells on next Sunday, where we'll do the art quilt house version, plus ornaments and the wreath design quilt and all of it. Take good care. You are the best. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye, sweeties.